Hello guys, today we will be looking into framework development and running that framework through Ant. So till now we have explored the basics of Ant, like how to download Ant, how to configure Ant, and then I have displayed how to do a few tasks in Ant in the first two tutorials. So now in this tutorial I will explain you a real life scenario and I will explain you how to develop a framework and run it through Ant. So in a real life, how does a project operate? So in a project there are 5 to 6 members. Say I am considering a small project in which each member is given an independent task, and then the team lead or the build person, he accumulates all the programs and creates a build out of that, and finally a jar file if needed. So how does he do that? Now let's see. I have Eclipse open, and in this Eclipse I have few folders. I have this main project folder, and testing is my project. In that I have created a source folder, and this is a simple Java project, a source folder which has a default package and which has two files inside it. First is a driver script which will drive the entire framework, and second one is a reusable function, somewhat similar to function library in Qtp or UFT. Then there is a system library which has all the jars over here. This I'll be not using this, but I will be using a different approach. So let me explain. These are the reference libraries. I will also not be using these. And here I have created one folder called Ant, and in this folder I will be doing the build. So this folder comprises of build as a subdirectory and bin, lib, source and test output as the final directories. So how do we this has been created manually. In the bin directory, there let's start with the source directory. In the source directory there will be Java files, and which will be compiled into bin directory, and finally the lib directory will have all the jars. So this has been created programmatically. This structure has been created programmatically through Ant. Let's see the Build.xml for that. Okay, here I have the Build.xml. Now programmers, what they will do is, say 5 programmers are working, so one will create one Java file, second one will create another Java file, and all these Java files eventually they will be compiled. When Ant runs, they will be compiled, and the class files will be put into the bin folder, and the library files, the dependencies will be pulled into the lib folder. The source file will be copied into the source folder, and the test output will have any reporting that you may have. Currently we are not working on this test output folder. First we will look into how this structure came into picture. So let's start with the build.xml. Initially I have the project name over here and tutorial. The default is run, and the base directory is my home directory. The property name is source, and this value is base directory / source. Then property name is bin, it has bin. Then I have the class paths. In this you need to provide the path element location for each of the jars, so that it will pick the jars and eventually it will put all the jars in the bin folder. So this is what this is doing. Then comes the target. The target names here is a delete directory, which will delete all the folders that I have created manually. Now once the folders are deleted, I have put a create here. So this will create all the folders after deleting, and this depends on delete directory. Then comes the target name copy, which will depend on create, and it will copy directory called source from and build from workspace and test ng source into our main build source directory. And then the second one copies from resources to our main resources directory. This step, the copy to dir, this will copy from lib directory to lib directory from and test ng lib directory, and it will include only the jar files. That's the reason you are seeing only jar files over here. Then comes the target compile, which will compile all the Java programs in the source directory, our source directory, and it will eventually put it into the bin directory, destination directory bin. And then it will run the compile Java classes. The class name is driver script. It will run the driver script class, which is the main class that runs the framework. And here it depends on the class path. Here also we have to give the class path reference so that it will pull in all the dependencies. In the class path, I have provided all the jars, and I have indicated where to copy all these, where to copy the final class files. Okay, so this is the general structure. Now let's see our driver script.java, what driver script.java does, because we will be triggering driver script.java through our framework. This is the main driver class, and this I think we have already seen. It's a very small main file. This contains the public static void main function, and it has a object of reusable functions class, which we will be seeing in the next session. Then it creates a two-dimensional string array keyword data, which will call the fetch data from Excel function of the functions object from reusable functions. Then here I am taking the length of this two-dimensional array and putting it into row num, and then I am taking the first element of the array, taking the length of it, and I am putting into column num. Similarly, I am taking the test case name, the step number, step name, function name, locator, using the various array elements of keyword data. Then I have the locator value, and similarly param1. So I have all the data fed into variables. Now I am here into my for loop, and here I am setting the counter from 1 to row number, and I am incrementing it by 1. Then here you can see the contents. I am taking the function contents underscore fn, contents underscore lc, contents underscore lcv, as these are various keywords, keyword data, and I am taking it from various elements of the array. And then later on I am fetching the property from contents from the properties file using contents underscore lcv. So this particular contents underscore lcv, I will show you the Excel file. Just give me a few minutes. It's in source main resources. Keywords. So in short, this driver script, it feeds all these data into variables. So if you notice in the script, I have mentioned here I have mentioned contents LCV. So what does contents LCV have? Counter and then 5. So LCV is this one, element 1 NA. So this is how it has been structured. And then once we get all these values, I am doing a switch for contents fn, which is the function, and the function is launch appl. It's taking from here function. So based on the function, it will call the various reusable functions which have been written in reusable functions.java. So simply creating an object of reusable functions and using it throughout the driver script, it shortens the driver script like anything, and it's very handy and very useful for reuse purpose. So that's all about the driver script. I'll be posting this code in this video comments. So the driver script code will be there when you see this video. So just copy that code and put it in, put the structure as here, and then you can put the build.xml and try to run this program. So yeah, that's about the driver script. In the next session, we will see how to use the reusable functions. What's there in the reusable functions. Thank you.